America's Next Top Model. What exactly is it? Many consider America's Next Top Model a time capsule of the modeling industry, but others consider it a huge pop culture phenomenon. Like many other people, I started watching Antm I started watching it when it came out with Cycle 24. And that's when I saw the show. I saw Cycle 24 on VH1. I watched the show, and that was when I decided to make my own Antm. And I was going to do it with my own personal dolls. And I did season 1 of my show in the year 2018. So, some things to know about me is that I am obsessed with Antm. I think it's such an amazing show. I love watching it and getting to know all the different personalities and all the different types of girls at the time. And looking back on the years was fascinating to me. And of course, I'm also a huge fan of RuPaul's Drag Race. I mean, who isn't? I know practically everything about Drag Race, and there's already been stuff said about Drag Race many times by other people, other content creators, but we're gonna move on. So personally, I started to do my own concoction of these two shows, and it's called Antm. And I do hour to 40-minute episodes, basically combining both of these properties together in a blender and turning it on and adding my own spice to it. I love doing different personalities, writing different characters. I've been doing this for about 4 years now, and so far the franchise has over 10 winners. Some of our franchises were created by some of my amazing dear friends. I just want to give them all a shout out in this video. So the first friend is SelenaMusic.doll. I asked her to create her own franchise with her doll Selena, and it's called SNTM, and she has revealed the cast on the Instagram, so make sure you guys go follow SNTM and get ready for the first episode. So the next friend of mine is Millennial Barbie, and I have a funny story about them. So I had created a competition many eons ago that wasn't even Antm. Well, I think I was doing it the same time as Antm, and it was called Supermodel Showdown. And it was a doll photography account. I asked some doll photographers that I knew to compete in the show, and they actually won the second season of the show, and they are from Canada, and they created CNTM, which is a Canadian version of ANTM, and their contestant Ari was brought in for season 5 of ANTM to compete as a wild card contestant. So make sure you follow them and get ready for season 3 whenever they decide to do it, because I really want to see season 3. Okay, now that you know a lot about the franchises or different properties of what I've created, ANTM, I'm not claiming to have thought of the idea of this show. I'm only just saying that I thought about doing a doll version of it myself, and I'm very passionate about it. It's one of my favorite things I've ever thought about, because, I mean, who doesn't like to brag that they have their own show and stuff, you know? I'm not, like, a cocky person. I'm not cocky, but, I'm gonna, before we move on and talk about what you're seeing, like, what logo is this, like, what does this mean? I'm gonna plug in one of my other spinoffs real quick. I did a spinoff called Models Incorporated, and it's kind of like I don't know if you guys have ever seen Flavor of Love, but there was a charm school, and it's like if ANTM met Flavor of Love Charm School, kind of type thing. It's all models. The show's basically about like finding a model graduate, and there are 2 winners of the show already, and all the models are unexperienced, like they've never modeled before, so yeah. So, what is Antm What If? I think personally the best possible way to explain this new series I'm creating is with inspiration from Marvel's What If show on Disney+. If you guys haven't seen it, it's probably one of their best projects that they've ever done, and I hope they do a season 2. But so, moving on. I want to say that, I want to say this firmly. Antm, my version, what I do, like how I make all the episodes, how I film everything, that all takes planning. And I'm going to firmly say that this show is scripted. It is a scripted program. It is not, it is as scripted as, let's say, Total Drama Island. Total Drama Island is a scripted program, probably more scripted than mine, but all placements every week of safe, low, high, win, eliminated, those are all planned, like based on everything. And I have found that planning reality TV is probably one of my biggest talents, because I come up with and I brainstorm different ideas for characters, when they should be eliminated, when they should keep going, when they're kind of useless to me in the show, and this helps me build an elimination order and helps me build the overall program of the every season, and everything is most likely always planned, which I know can be a disappointment to a lot of people, but if you think about it, most reality TV shows are staged and fake. So we've been living with this our whole life. It's nothing new. So what is Antm What If? So throughout my whole time planning and working on different seasons of Antm, there have been some scrapped ideas and scrapped stuff and different girls from, like, I've created different characters for a lot of seasons, and years later come to find out that the cast gets changed, altered, girls get rejected, stuff like that. And another when the show airs, like when the episodes come out, fans have different reactions to some of the stuff and the choices and decisions that are made in the show, and they always wonder, oh well, what if this happened, or what if this happened? So this series is basically me and talking about some fan stuff that I've noticed from some people that I know close to me who watch the show, what they think would happen. So that's basically what Antm What If is. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be doing deep dives into different scenarios of if a season was altered slightly, how would the season change? Like, what would happen? That's basically what type of videos I'm going to be doing here. Some videos may be me judging other competitions. Some videos may be me talking about a specific season and a specific problem that I've noticed that people had, and giving them an insight to what it would look like if the season was different. So now that that is down, I'm gonna introduce you guys to the first episode slash, I don't know what to call this, an episode series in the Antm series. It's like a series within a series. I know, crazy. So remember when I was talking about how there's a lot that goes into planning a season, and I've planned up to, well, I've planned 6 to season 10 of the franchise of Antm. So what you're going to see with season 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and well, those are all planned. Like I've deep dived and I've figured out like the best like the best thing to do for those seasons, and their eliminations and everything have already been done, except for the winners. I haven't picked winners for any season, but with planning a season, there are contestants that I have rejected from these seasons. maybe these contestants were not chosen because I wanted them to go further, but then I wanted someone else to go further more than them, and they just got cut off altogether and replaced with someone different. These decisions happen all the time. Like, it happens all the time. Plus, some of the seasons that I planned already, like 7, 8, 9, all those are subject to change. So who knows if these other girls will come back for those seasons. It's just confusing, but we're gonna try to make this less confusing, okay? So there are a group of girls, there's a group of dolls in my collection that were supposed to be on Antm, but weren't. And for our first series within a series, we will be doing a fantasy season. Okay, so what is a fantasy season? A fantasy season is a hypothetical scenario that is something that I could see happening in the real world, but it's not real because it's a fantasy. So, now this fantasy season, of course, revolves around rejected contestants. As I've said, I think I've mentioned in here, I have done a lot of different seasons of Antm. I've planned lots of different stuff, lots of characters, ended up getting rejected and removed from different shows, and things change all the time, and there are a couple girls from every season that don't actually make it to the show and get removed. So I dug up 18 girls that didn't make it. They got rejected. Boop, bye, you know. And I decided that I will be doing episodes sporadically, diving into, oh, well, if the challenge was this, then who would do well? Who do I think would do well? Who do I think? Like, this is all speculated. It hasn't been, and also, newsflash, I haven't sat down to plan this. So this is not pre-planned. This is happening in real time as we are talking at this very moment. If you're watching this in the future, then the winner has probably already been chosen of this fantasy season, but I just want to firmly say and give a disclaimer that everything in future episodes is all speculated, and all of this does not exist in the canon universe of Antm. Now, with everything we know now, we know how everything is scripted, everything is planned, everything is all speculated. I give you all the disclaimers, everything. We made it to the part of the video where we are going to talk more about this fantasy season. We're not going to do an episode today. I'm just going to reveal the cast and talk about them and explain each of the girls. But before we begin, what is the name of our fantasy season? Well, the name of our fantasy season goes by Antm Rejected Girls. This is a season created specifically for contestants that I have denied competing on this show, or contestants that were removed from a season because personally they deserved better and they needed their own other season to be a part of to shine equally. Now, most of these girls that I'm going to talk about were a part of some fantasy scenarios in my head already and just never came to the light of the day. So some of these girls are gonna bring back some memories for me. And of course, some of these girls are most recent cases of girls that I've denied. So we're gonna dive into this video with just having a good time. So get yourself a drink and get ready, because we're gonna meet 18 girls, and some of them will be easy to talk about, some of them will be a little difficult. So here we go. So, like I've said before, this cast is 18 rejected girls from all types of different things I've thought of, and we'll get down to business with each and every single girl because everyone has a different story. So we're gonna start with our first contestant. So the first contestant is called Rachel, and she is scrapped from Antm Interactive, which is basically just a more interactive version of Antm. And she's also scrapped from numerous seasons, I think. Rachel had a lot of different names like Nicole and Abigail and all these different types of names, and I just personally believe she deserved better, and she's been in my noggin, and she hasn't gone anywhere. And I feel like she would work really well in this season. Who knows what she'll do in this season, hypothetically, but I have a lot of high hopes for her. Her personality type is very girl next door, very, she's also very serious, I think. She's very serious, and she has her eye on the prize. So that's basically Rachel. The next contestant we're going to talk about is SOMMER. All right, so I have interesting tea about SOMMER. I really didn't know what to do with her character. I just didn't know. I mean, I picked her out of my doll bin, and I was like, you know what? She has to go in a season. She has to be a part of something. And I actually had a duplicate of her because I bought her off of Mercari, and I had a duplicate of her, and I customized the other one, and you'll see the other customized doll in the future. But this version of SOMMER is not the same customized doll. She's a different character than her customized counterpart. This doll is very, honestly, if I had to give her personality at the top of my head, I'd say she's pretty eccentric. She looks very happy. She's a curvy, of course. She's curvy. We always love a curvy queen. So I think she's very eccentric. I think that's what I would give her personality type. So I guess that's SOMMER for you all in a nutshell. Okay, so if you've just seen the name that has popped up, the next contestant is called Tana. What do I say about her? That's nice. Okay, so I'll tell you what she's rejected from. She was rejected from season 6 and season 7, and now she's just floating around, honestly, and I think that just is plenty of reason that she's rejected. Tana is a wild child. If you cannot tell already, if you've been living under a rock, she's definitely inspired by the influencer Tana Mojo. I definitely base a lot of her. Her whole deal is that I feel like as her inspirational character, like her character that's inspired by her, Tana goes around telling lots of stories that are TMI, and she's just a wild child. She's messy, she's dramatic, she's the whole production. And that's what I really think Tana is. And I know this sounds like a really thought out character, and maybe she will see the light of day one day, but for now, she's a part of our fantasy season. Okay, so this next character is, she is like, what's the word for it? She's like bringing me back to times when I was so young and I was in high school or middle school. I bought this doll that you are seeing right now, Miranda. I bought this doll a long time ago, and I actually named her after one of my friends, Miranda. But she's nothing like my friend. She's nothing like her. Well, maybe she is. She's an aspiring artist and model. She was rejected from a numerous amount of seasons that I don't even remember, but I know she's a reject because, you know, she didn't make a cast yet at the time of this video. She is Moroccan, and she actually wears glasses, but I didn't have her glasses in this photo, so yeah. I'd say Miranda's very, she likes to look at the positives of things. She is a vegan. She is just very in touch with nature. She's the type of girl that looks at the positives and tries to ignore the negatives. And who knows what that can do for her in our fantasy season. Misty was originally going to be included on the 7th season of Antm as well. She is quite a interesting character. She is very shy, but she's driven to do amazing, but her shyness gets in the way of that, I think. And personally, I just saw her not making it far in the season she was originally planned to be in. And she just needs her own season. So at the time being, she's going to be competing in our fantasy cycle. The next contestant I'm going to talk about is SKYLAR, and this SKYLAR in particular is a character that is not created by me, believe it or not. I don't know if you guys remember in season 5, we had a one of my characters from the DG music industry, KIARA, went to Antm, and I put her in an Antm cycle. And I wanted to do another celebrity contestant, and I had some ideas of some celebrities to do. And I decided on doing I wanted to incorporate Snowfall Dolls' SKYLAR character in the show because she's one of my deep friends, and SKYLAR is very much a girly girl, and I also think, I honestly believe she's kind of like a tomboy too at the same time. So she has a really friendly personality, really nice, really sweet girl. We'll see how that plays out for her in our fantasy competition. Okay, next is Daisy. Personally, Daisy was not originally going to be a curvy, considering that the body you are seeing right now, I did not actually have that body available to me, but I recently purchased this body, and you know what? Let's make her curvy, because the world is round, and women are too. So that's what I say. As for her personality, I think Daisy is kind of similar to SOMMER, I think. And she's just full of energy and life and positivity. I think Daisy's not shy either. She's very confrontational, but she's not like a drama starter or a pot stirrer. You know, she's not. You know, that's not her. So we'll see how she we'll see how she does in the competition. Okay, so this next character is named Pia. And before anyone asks where her name comes from, let me tell you. Her name comes from, I want to say her name is from that one Polly Pocket movie. I want to say it, but I think I just honestly came up with it on the spot. I don't think there was any inspiration. This doll is a childhood doll of mine. This is a doll that I played with when I was very young. I got all of the dolls from this line that she's from. The Swap and Styles Wave 1, I think, of the Fashionista brand. And I just love this doll so much, and I thought if she was gonna be on any season, she needed to be on a season where she can shine the brightest to her best abilities. Not saying, that doesn't mean necessarily that she's a finalist, but you never know. Okay, Evangeline is next to the roster of girls for this fantasy season. What do I say? She's originally scrapped from season 8. She was on season 8. Don't ask me why, she was just on there, I guess. I wanted her to be there, and as I was writing the season, I just felt like she didn't have the spark or the thing I wanted the most. No shade to her. I bet she's a great girl. I bet she's a lovely gal. But it was not working. So, what I can say for Evangeline, does her name mean something? I feel like her name means something. But, she's very sophisticated, I bet. And I know that's probably shocking. She's very sophisticated. I think I originally had her from New York. She's a New York girl, so there's that. So, moving on. Okay, so I will be honest. I always wanted a goth girl in Antm, so I created Jade. Now, I do have to be honest with you guys. She was rejected from quite a lot of seasons, and some seasons went way far back that I can't even remember, but I do know that she was recently rejected from season 8. She was gonna be on season 8. I know a lot of these girls are from season 8, I realize. This is actually not her font. This doll you guys see. This is actually not her, what is it? It is not her form that I gave her at first. I actually had her being a Barbie, and I didn't even think of making her Mycene until I found this Mycene lying around, and I did her face up, and I was like, you know what? She's goth. Like, who's to say what is goth and what is not, you know? So obviously, being a goth, I wanted to shy away from what is the stereotypical goth. So her personality is completely opposite of a goth girl, what you would think. She is, well, okay, she is tough. She is a tough girl, but I feel like she's also very, like, to herself. She's very calm to herself, and she's not afraid to be loud and obnoxious. I think, I'm just rambling, but Jade is awesome. I can't wait for you guys to get to see her in another season if she does go on, but for now, she's in our fantasy. Okay, so remember Interactive, right? Santana was originally also going to be in that season as well, and this was her planned doll. I had no idea. For those who are wondering, Interactive got canceled, so I just scrapped the whole season, and she's here, and Santana is a drama starter. Yeah, I see that for her. But she's very, she, I'm not gonna lie, she's kind of like a gaslighter. I know it's so bad to say, but she's kind of that type of girl, and I really saw that for her. I saw her being dramatic and being, but I bet the judges would love her. But we'll see what happens when we do the season, right? Luna is probably a really fun character to make. She is a really, really girly girl, but she's super like down to earth, and she loves all different types of people. She's very accepting. She's very open-minded, definitely. And making her originally, it hurt me deeply to cut her out of her original season, and I knew that when I was gonna do this, she was the first one. She was one of the girls to think about to do this. So here she is. All right, Hallie, what do I say? Oh, what's to know about Hallie is that, well, her name inspiration's very, 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 obvious. Very obvious. But she is another rejected character. Honestly, this doll was on a lot of seasons under different names, and I couldn't for the life of myself tell you what those names were. But this is the last working name that I remember. I only remember this one, so she's going by this name. So, about her, she is very, very, very proud of her heritage. She is just she's African, like she's African. So she's very proud of her African heritage. She loves modeling, obviously, which is why she is a model. So, Hallie, and she's so pure. She's a pure girl. She's pure, very pure. Love Hallie, love her. Eileen is one of the contestants that I created a very, very long time ago, and I remember this specific name for her, so this is her name, okay? I remember where I was when I made that name, and it was 2019 I made this character. I don't know what season she was going to be on. I don't know what on earth, because honestly, some of these girls, I don't remember what seasons they were. But Eileen is a skipper, and don't let that fool you. She is not young at all. She is actually pretty old, and that's kind of funny considering her doll is literally supposed to be a skipper. What else do I say? Eileen is very much the motherly figure. I feel like she'd be the motherly figure of the season. She's very motherly, very insightful. I don't know where that'll lead her. Okay, so this is really funny. This doll is named Grace. This is her character. Grace is a brainiac type of character. I wanted someone that was a smart girl. I always wanted like a nerd, and this girl is a nerd. Like, she can do math at the top, at just the top of her, what is that? Top of her head. Like, she can do it. And that is Grace. And it is kind of funny to me that her doll, the doll that you see, that is actually the doll's name. I thought that was funny. I thought that was really funny. But of course, I knew that. I knew that already. I'm just excited for you guys to see Grace. Very excited. Okay, so this doll went by many names. I mean, most of the girls on this cast went by many names prior to everything. And this is KIARA. KIARA's doll, if you think it looks familiar, it is actually from, she's a fashionista, I think. I bowl washed her hair, so it became like this, and this texture is just, her texture is so beautiful. Her hair is so beautiful. Like, I wish you could feel this doll's hair. Like, she is a glamazon, like, for real, for real. And when I was making this character, I originally had her be on season 5, which would have been so cool if she got the opportunity to do so. But personally, I just felt like her character was kind of weak, and I feel like I needed to think of ways to make her more unique. And honestly, I think she would be a bad bitch. That's what I think. I think she'd be a bad bitch. So let's see what happens to her. Let's see it. All right, LYRON, our last and final contestant. The final. And LYRON is one of my rejected characters. First of all, how I remembered her name is beyond me. Where I came up with this name is beyond me. What season she was supposed to be on is also beyond me. LYRON is amazing. Honestly, this is just an idea that popped in my head. Imagine if LYRON and Grace were sisters. Wouldn't that be cool? You know, I'm thinking about that. I'm gonna think about that. But LYRON is very confident. She's not cocky at all, because I feel like when she says she's gonna do something, she does it. So maybe if she says she's gonna get the crown, maybe she will. Who knows? We'll have to find out. So, yeah, that's basically our cast. This is basically just all of them. This is going to be our cast for our fantasy scenario season. I'm going to put some of the challenges up on the screen right now, so you'll be able to see them. And that'll basically be all the episodes in this series. So I can't wait for you guys to see it. So I'll see you guys whenever the show happens. So yeah, bye. Oh, one more thing that I have to say first. So, you know, I would love to conceptualize and create and do photo shoots, but you know what?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, so there's not going to be any photos for this. It's all going to be just thought of. So yeah, I'll see you guys at the first episode, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye!